Hi and welcome to another episode of Cafe Chronicles. Steve here. I wanted to put together a little bit of a video on getting these KQR28 litre hard cases for the Ninja ready. If you guys recall, when I bought the Ninja 1000, I wanted to do some sport touring on it, see a little bit of Canada and the States, North America in general. And one thing I wanted to do was I wanted to get the hard cases, the side panniers. If you remember, I mentioned it when I picked up the Ninja. Well, at the moment, I'm sort of out of action. I had a little bit of a surgery on my leg, so my leg's up at the moment. And what better time to have a look at keying these bad boys. So I bought these used and they came with a key in them, but I want to key them so that they fit to the key for my bike, and I also want to get them hooked up and set up on the Ninja as well. So good timing to get that sorted out so that I can actually do some touring this summer as soon as my leg's better. What we're going to do in this video is I'm going to go through kind of showing you what I got and then start looking at how we're going to go about doing it. So let's get stuck in. So I got these used, I got them second hand. They're in pretty good shape. There's a few little scuffs here and there. And if you remember, my bike is actually black, but the bike does have little green accents here and there on the monoshock, the adjuster for the preload for the rear suspension. So I'm gonna try it on it with, with the little bits of green on top here and see what they're like. You can buy these little strips for about $60 for a set of two. So I might actually just get that if it's a thing that they look kind of weird on the bike, but I'm gonna try them. To get a set of these and the handrails, it's about $1,500 Canadian dollars, and I ended up getting this set, the same set of KQR28 cases. They go on the Versus and they go on the Ninja 1000 as well. They use the same handrail system. So I ended up getting these for about $500 Canadian. So quite a savings, and they're in great shape and everything. So hopefully I'll get some good use out of them. Now the other owner, he actually included a key, which is the key off his old bike, I guess, and he gave me one of the keys. Now I'm not going to use that. I've actually bought a little system from Kawasaki, the one key system, so I'm actually going to try and key a new barrel so that it suits my own key from the bike, so that I only have to carry one key and it will fit both my bike and my luggage as well. And with these here, you can actually, it locks and unlocks the main case, but it also has a little piece here. It's like a little locking mechanism that you can see here, and this is actually what locks it, so that you can potentially take it on and off the bike as well. This piece here. Now this is the little one key lock system that I bought from Kawasaki. That's the part number there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually link list the part numbers in the video description as well, just in case anybody's interested. It's actually a really simple system. So the kit comes with a little bag of tiny springs, and it also comes with bags that are labeled green, red, blue and yellow. So the idea is that you drop in one of the springs into the tiny little hole here, and then you basically thread in one of these little shivs, one of these little slides down into it. The idea is that you push the key in and you basically test to see which one of these slides stop the key from making it all the way in, and you basically keep switching out the slides one by one until you get to a point where all of the slides are completely flush to the barrel like this, and then you know that your lock is completely keyed. It's quite a really simple little system. So I've gone ahead and I'm after putting in the combination of, you know, green, red, blue and yellow to suit my key, so that I know the barrel is sorted for both left and right cases. The next step is to take the case apart and to take out the old barrels and put in the new barrels. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to remove these 3 Phillips head screws from the back of the case. All of my tools are in the workshop at the moment, and as I said, I've just actually had a bit of a surgery on the back of my leg, so I kind of have very little with me at the moment in the house. But I have a little kit actually that my dad gave me last time I was in Ireland, and he kind of said, take that with you, it's handy. And I was like, no, I've got lots of stuff, Dad, it's okay. He's like, go on, you know, this thing's very handy to have in the house. And I was like, okay. So I took it home, and you know what, since I've been home, I think I've used it about 5 or 6 times in the house already. So it's been really helpful. It's a little multi-tool, this is it here, but the great thing about it is, one, it's ratcheting, but it has all these different little kind of features to it, which I thought were like really gimmicky, but you know what, it's been so handy. I've actually already done the first case, this is the second one, and the things after like coming in so handy already. Dads just know, don't they? They just know what's best. Alright, once we have these out here, we're going to go ahead and open up the case. These cases that I bought used actually came with the little bag liners as well, which is awesome. And like I said, I priced out the full kit with everything, and it was like about 1,500 Canadian, so I was really glad of finding it. If you can at all, this is the way to go. You know, owners of these bikes don't tend to be hooligans, they tend to care for them, and because of that they tend to be in good shape. You'll notice that I've disconnected this here. This is just a little strap that stops the case from falling open all the way, but I've disconnected it so that it gives me a little bit more room, and hopefully you guys can see a little bit better. Okay, so next up we're going to take out this little screw, and there's a corresponding one on this side of the handle on the inside as well. Hopefully you can see that there too, that one there. So we're going to take the 2 of those out. Now hopefully you can see in here, what we need to do is we need to take out these 2 screws, and on this side another 2 over here. Hopefully you guys can see. Hopefully you guys can see that, but there's 2 here that we need to take out as well. Now these are a T30, and we take out both on left and the right side, and that's on the inner part of the inside of the case. We're going to take them out. Again, this little tool, this little multi-tool has been so handy, the way it kind of moves around. It's kind of ideal for so many little jobs. Handy to have in the house, I'll tell you. Okay, so now that we have all those screws out, what we need to do is just take this little piece, this little back piece off here. Now, what's happening is, where we took these first screws off, these first 3 screws, there's actually a piece of double-sided sticky tape on, or adhesive tape on the back here. So all we have to do is just get the flat side of a flathead screwdriver, something like that, in behind to just kind of break that free. And it doesn't take much. There it is. Good. Oops. There it is. And there it just slides out. So here we can see the inside there, and hopefully you guys can see they've just got this little layer of kind of double-sided tape here that kind of shows up. Okay, so here's the important part of this whole mechanism. All we need to do is open up this little latch here, which is the disconnect for taking it off the bike. This piece here, it just pulls up like that. Once that's up, the little red piece shows. These go down here. And now this piece can just come out freely. So we'll take that out of the way for the while. We're going to have to take out 3 little screws down here that are holding in the little key barrel. So I'm just going to use this small little screwdriver here to take out these 3 little screws. Get the second one out here. The last one. Now once those 3 screws are out of there, this whole little mechanism can come up. So we'll take that out of the way, and now we can see here the old lock barrel is in sight. So what we're going to try and do here, hopefully you guys can see, there's a little tab here at the top, and that little tab is the lock, the little locking plate that keeps that little piece, that whole barrel in place. And what we're going to do is we're just going to push down on it with a little flathead screwdriver. I just have a different flathead tip on it here. I pushed it in, and then I'm going to simply, once I have that tab pushed down, it's like a little spring-loaded tab. Once I have that pushed down, I'm going to put some pressure on the key barrel from this side. And what I'm actually going to do is on the other side, I'm going to put the key into the barrel and give it a little twist so that I can just pull the key out from the other side. Hopefully you guys got that, but that's the little locking mechanism there on the barrel. So I got the top of the screwdriver to push that down because we needed to get it around this little piece so that we could slide the barrel out. And then what I did was on the other side, I slid the key into the lock and started to kind of turn it to one side and pull it out as well, and it helped to take it out of there. So now it's time to put our new barrel in that we've already keyed. So here's the new barrel that I've keyed earlier, and you can see when you push the key in, everything is nice and it's in there, apart from that one little locking mechanism that still sticks up there, and that's fine, that's going to stay like that. Then all we need to do is come in from the other side. So all I'm going to do here is just kind of line up the front, push it in, and then there's a little knack to having this go in, but we have our new barrel in there and it's working well. Whoops, and we've got our keys on there, it's turning well. Okay, so we've got our new barrel in there, it's keyed with the new lock and everything's good. So now we just gotta put it back together. So we'll pop this back in place first. We put our 3 small screws in. Next, it's time to put back in our little mechanism for locking and unlocking. I'm just going to do that with it just so that it stays in place while we're tightening everything up. So that is ready now to go back on the case. So let's pop this on here first. Make sure this is in place. and we'll pop in our 3 little screws in there as well. And because this is going into plastic, you gotta be pretty careful not to, you know, wring any of these threads or to over tighten them, because you will damage them. So you gotta be careful and just get them in where they're snug, and don't go too far on them. Now we have to fasten what's on the inside. So let's start with these up here. We'll put these in first. Okay, and last but not least, we got to put in our T30 screws, 2 this side and 2 over this side, and then we're good to go. The other reason these KQR cases aren't very available used is that these specific motorcycles, the Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX, they're sort of a middleweight sport touring, and they're such a reliable bike that they've mounted quite a following, and riders can be quite loyal to them. And because of that, usually what will happen is, because these cases, same cases, are compatible with later models of motorcycles, quite often the rider will take them off their bike, sell the bike used without the cases, buy a new bike, and then put the old cases on there. And because it's possible to get, you know, color upgrades and the likes for these parts, it means that yeah, they're quite easy to work with. So all I have to do right now is to just pop in this little catch for the hook, and then we're good to go. And that's pretty much it. We have our bag back in place. Our little locking system works well. Check our key, make sure that it functions. Pull out our little lock here, close it up, lock goes in place, tighten it up, and all is well in the world. So we have our case now, and it's keyed up to our original Kawasaki key, so we're good to go ahead and put these on the bike. So we've got everything in place. You know, here's one other little set of parts that I got. It's again Kawasaki. I'll show you guys the serial number for these. We'll put it down in the description. But these are the parts that we put in. They're little rubber stops and that go in there to just kind of keep the bags in place. These are little rubber stoppers. I'll show you where they go on in the foot pegs, and we'll get it in place and see what they look like. So here you can kind of see on the hand grip of the rear pillion seat, just down below you can see on the foot pegs here is where we're going to put these little rubber stops. Those little rubber stops, they just kind of squeeze on like this, squeeze in place, and once we put the case on, it's going to stop them from rattling around. It's going to keep them nice and solid. So I'm pretty happy with that. We have the cases on there in the Ninja. It's going to be great to actually be able to go out and take a ride on it. Like I said, I had a bit of an emergency surgery last Friday, so it kind of messed us up a little bit with the cafe build, with the budget cafe build. This video you're going to see it Saturday morning, and while you're watching this, Dan and I are going to be in the shop working on the cafe budget build, and I'll be hobbling around with my foot up barking at Dan, and Dan telling me to get lost. But I kind of wanted to put something up. I'd been meaning to do this for ages. I'm sitting here with my foot up, so I kind of thought now is the ideal time to do something like this, so why not give it a shot? Thanks a lot for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, a big thanks to any of you guys who've bought t-shirts. That really helps the channel. It helps us to buy little bits and pieces that we use every week, and also, as you can imagine, lots of equipment and the likes get used, so that really helps. So big thank you to everybody who's purchased t-shirts. It really helps. You guys stay safe, and next week we'll have another budget cafe build episode for you. We'll edge a little bit closer to get Dan in on that cycle pump, get him out on the roads. All right, stay safe.